They're pretty good. What about yours?
Pretty good.
You know, we're beginning to sound like an old married couple already.
Well, it's more than 8 months.
No, you make it sound like over 8 years.
Oh, that's not true, you know it.
Where's Tom?
Upstairs cramming for his finals.
Good.
I helped him for an hour this afternoon.
Good girl. You deserve a drink.
Later, we're dining at the Connets. Remember?
How about that? I completely forgot.
At the club.
Black tie?
I'm afraid so.
You say you helped Tom? I never knew you knew anything about science.
Oh, I was a whiz in high school. Won the chemistry medal. If I hadn't decided to become an actress, who knows?
Another Madame Curie, eh? I think who's been at this bottle?
What bottle?
Well, somebody seems to have been at my scotch.
Are you sure?
Sure, I'm sure. It's my favorite scotch, and I watch it like a hawk.
Darling, how silly. You act as if it were the Hope Diamond.
No, it's not that. It's 20 years old, very rare, and I can't get any more of it. It's half gone, and I only opened it last night.
Maybe it evaporated.
Well, very funny. Maybe Leighton knows.
Oh, Leighton wouldn't take it.
Well, nevertheless, I'm going to ask him.
Darling, it seems to me an enormous fuss over a bottle of scotch.
Well, it's part of his job to keep track of such things. Yes, sir? Oh, Leighton, I find that some of my favorite scotch is missing, almost half a bottle. Have you any idea what happened to it?
No, sir, I have no idea.
Oh, Mrs. Van Buren doesn't know either. It's getting to be a mystery.
Well, I haven't served any of your scotch, Mr. Van Buren, and I don't drink myself. Haven't touched a drop in 20 years.
Well, I guess I've been mistaken.
Anything else, sir?
No, not tonight. We're going to the club for dinner, but we'll drive ourselves.
Very good, sir.
Darling, we'd better dress.
Yes.
You see, all that for nothing.
Well, a man was entitled to be wrong once in a while.
Hello, Dad.
Oh, the student emerges from his monastic cell.
Oh, with all those pin-up girls, don't be silly.
What's the matter, jealous?
I could be. Tom, we're going to the club tonight with the Connets. And since you're going back to school tomorrow, I thought maybe you would like to come along.
Mustn't be too late, you know. You've got to catch that 6:30 train in the morning.
Will the Connets girl be there?
I especially asked her mother to bring her.
Good deal. Dad, you married a wonderful woman.
Thanks, he thought. Well, I don't know about you two, but I'm going to dress.
Just a couple of minutes, dear. I want to frisk Tom for that scotch.
You're a fool.
What's the matter? Lose a bottle of whiskey?
No, not really. Just a joke between us. Well, Tom, off to school tomorrow. End of vacation. I'll miss you.
I'll miss you too, Dad. And Irene. Otherwise, I don't mind going back, really.
You do like Irene, don't you?
She's great, Dad.
Good.
You know, I can tell you this now, but... Well, remember when you first called me at school and told me you were getting married again? I was scared stiff. I don't know, it was selfish, I suppose, but... Well, I knew how lonely you were and everything. Well, you know how it is.
Of course. I must admit I was scared stiff myself. Mainly on your account, I suppose. But you feel now we ought to keep her on, eh?
All I can say is if she leaves, I'm going with her.
That makes me very happy. I say we ought to hurry, you know. We'll never hear the end of this. You know what women are.
What did you do today, darling?
Played golf with Betty Connett.
Oh. Did you win?
Yes.
Good.
I shot a 78.
A 78? Irene.
Well, an 82 then.
Well, that's better. You know, sometimes I wonder what I'm going to do about you.
Oh, darling, would you zip me up, please? You know, if I were you, I would divorce me and marry another girl.
Yes, there's only one thing wrong with that. I happen to love you.
Oh, Walter, would you answer the phone, please?
Hello?
Hello, Walter.
Yeah.
Frank and I will meet you at the club.
Okay.
You know, Irene and I had a wonderful game today, even though she did beat me. I just couldn't seem to hit anything right. You know, the 15th hole, well, I was out in 3, but I 3-putted, and that was the end. Irene finally beat me 2 up. It was awfully nice of her to invite me in for a drink on the way home. And Walter, don't worry about that scotch we drank this afternoon.
Don't worry about what?
The scotch, I know it's your everlasting precious favorite. We intend returning it.
Oh, no, that's quite all right. didn't you tell me that you and Betty Connor drank that scotch?
I was afraid to.
Afraid?
Yes. You know, Walter, you're very strict at times. You told me I should never serve your special scotch to anyone, and... Well, I was afraid you might take my head off.
Darling, have you always found it so hard to tell the truth?
I suppose so.
Why?
Through fear, I suppose. Fear of so many things. Of poverty and failure, and fear that people won't like me. Fear that people won't think I'm good enough for you. I was always afraid of my father. He used to whop me over the most trivial things. I guess that's why I became an actress. I couldn't face my life as it really was.
I have my fears, too. Do you know what they are? But in time, you'll find our life together too boring after your glamour in the theater.
Oh, darling, no, never. I don't miss those things at all. I'm so happy with you and Tom. I'm so proud that you wanted me to be your wife. I just love our life together. It's just that, well, I'm afraid I might lose it.
Not through me, you won't.
Oh, ruin my makeup.
That's nothing. You've ruined my shirt front.
Oh, darling. Thank you, Frank.
You know, Tom's planning a thesis for his college exams on interstellar space travel, or how to get away from it all.
How do you know so much?
Big brain, that's all.
What are you aiming at, the moon?
No, I'll settle first for an engineering course at MIT. This paper was my first step.
I hear your mother helped you with it.
Sure. Sure, she was a great help.
Why don't you read your dad?
Irene not only has a big brain, she's a mind reader, too.
Don't step all over her feet. I just bought those shoes yesterday.
Don't worry about a thing. I'm wearing my space shoes.
They dance well together. Young people grow up so soon these days. And that depends on how they're brought up. When I was their age, I was in a play on Broadway. Really? Wonderful part. Very short run. Everyone said it was too highbrow.
Say, I've been meaning to ask you, how did you and Walter ever run into each other?
Well, you needn't talk as if he had been slumming.
Oh, no, I didn't mean that. But he's such a conservative old goat.
Oh, just a minute, Frank. I've been around.
As a matter of fact, we met at the Vanderlips in Southampton. And yes, Walter was a widower then, and Marion Vanderlip asked him to take me home.
I can bet what the answer was.
And so he took me into New York and to cap it all, took me to the Stork Club for a nightcap. And then the next day asked me for lunch. And the following day he proposed.
What you might call a whirlwind courtship.
And they lived happily ever after. Speaking of the devil, there's Marion Vanderlip now. Woohoo, Marion! Marion! There she's here! How nice to see you! Well, I would have let you know I was coming up, only Jack didn't know himself up to the... Frank, how's the law business?
Fine.
Still charging those outrageous fees?
Well, I can.
Irene has just been telling us about her whirlwind courtship. Oh, was it Walter's? Irene? Irene Van Buren. You know each other, don't you? Oh, how do you do? How do you do? Oh, weren't you Irene Carlton, the actress? Yes. Oh, I remember seeing you in that play where you died of something because you were separated from your lover. You know, I often thought of inviting you to my place down on Long Island. I have a lot of theater people come down. I wonder why I never invited you.
after her, Tom.
Excuse me. What's the matter?
I've disgraced myself. You go back to the club. Rita's waiting for you.
Wait a minute.
Tom, your father is furious with me. And he has every right to be. As a matter of fact, he has every right to leave me. Why can't I ever tell the truth?
Why don't you let me drive?
Don't be silly.
Come on, you're upset.
I'm not so upset I can't drive a car. Good morning, Leighton.
Oh, good morning.
I had a little accident last night.
Yes, so I see.
Well, I was wondering whether you could fix it for me quickly.
Well, I don't know how quick I can be about it. These things take time. See, I'll have to hammer it out and emery it down.
Well, perhaps we could send it to the Body and Center place in New York.
Well, I think I can handle it, ma'am.
I just don't want Mr. Van Buren to know about it.
He'd find out when you got the bill.
I want the General Hospital. Yes. Yes, please hurry. Hello, is this the General Hospital? I'm making inquiries in regard to an old woman who was struck down last night at the corner of State Street and Grantham Avenue. No, I'm not a relative. I just want... Well, surely you can tell me how she is. What does my name matter? Well, you see, I was passing by there last night, and I was so shocked by the whole thing, Hello? Hello?
Irene. Irene, let me in.
Oh, just a minute, Walter. Good morning, darling.
Irene, there's a man downstairs from the police.
Police? What does he want?
Now, we only have a few minutes, and I want some straight answers. This is no time for not telling the truth. Do you understand?
Well, what's happened? What's the matter?
After you left the club last night, where did you go?
Well, I came straight home.
Was Tom with you?
Of course.
Were you here when I knocked on your door?
Yes.
Then why didn't you let me in?
Oh, I was too ashamed of what happened at the club.
Well, that doesn't matter now. When you left, which route did you take home?
Walter, what on earth's the matter?
Are you sure you didn't go anywhere near State Street?
Well, what would I be doing there?
A woman was struck by a car at the corner of State and Grantham last night at about 10 o'clock. She's in the General Hospital. A passerby gave the police a fairly thorough description. It was a white sports car.
Well, I can't see why you're getting yourself into such an uproar over a white sports car hitting an old woman.
Well, I didn't say she was an old woman.
I just assumed it was an old woman. They're always getting so confused with lights and traffic. It's a wonder more of them aren't hurt.
Irene, if you're lying to me again, I warn you it will be for the very last time. Understand?
Yes, I understand, Walter.
Well, come along. The inspector's waiting. This is Inspector Roberts.
How do you do, Inspector?
I'm sorry to have to call so early.
Well, that's quite all right. My husband has just been telling me about the dreadful accident on State Street last night. How is the poor woman?
Doing as well as can be expected.
You know, I never know quite what that means.
Neither do I. And, of course, that's the doctor's business.
Naturally. Come sit down.
Mrs. Van Buren, where were you around 10 o'clock last night?
Well, that's hard to say. I'm not a clock watcher.
Well, can you give me an approximation? I know you had dinner at the club. Mr. Van Buren has already told me that. About what time did you leave?
Well, what time would you say, Walter?
About 9:30.
You see, Walter is a clock watcher.
When you left, were you alone?
No, my stepson Tom was with me.
Where is he?
Well, he went back to Boston on the 6:30 train this morning.
Did you come directly home?
No, we went to Jim's for an ice cream soda.
After a heavy dinner?
Well, you know how boys are.
Yes. After the ice cream soda, what did you do?
Who came directly home?
What time was that?
Really, Inspector?
All these questions are necessary, I assure you.
Well, I suppose 10:15, somewhere in there.
Mrs. Van Buren, when you came around the corner of State Street in your car, did you or did you not strike an old woman?
Certainly not. If I had done such a thing, wouldn't you think I would have known it?
You might have known it and still driven away.
Oh, I resent that. Walter, what right is this man to come here on the flimsy basis of a white sports car, of which there are dozens, and accuse me of being a hit-and-run driver?
Yes, I must say, Inspector, you seem to be stretching this a little too far. You have no evidence against Mrs. Van Buren. You have no witnesses who saw the occupants of the car, and you have no license number.
I have a license number, Mr. Van Buren, which was taken down by a bystander as the car drove away. And it's the license number of your car. You mind if I take a look at it?
Not at all. Walter, why don't you show the inspector where the garage is?
Yes, it's out this way, Inspector. Good morning, Nathan.
Oh, good morning, sir.
This is Inspector Roberts.
How do you do, sir? How do you do? Just want to ask you a few questions, Leighton. Yes, sir. Have you been with the family long? Yes, I have, sir.
Well, since my son was born 17 years ago.
Had a little accident?
Looks like it.
Were you in the car when it happened?
No, I wasn't, sir.
Where were you last night?
I went to a movie, sir.
Any good?
Pretty good.
Surprising when there's ever any trouble how many people go to a movie.
I don't quite understand that, sir.
Never mind. We'll have to keep that light just as it is.
Of course, Inspector. Anything you say.
I have a few more questions for your wife.
Right. Thank you.
Mrs. Van Buren, I realize you're no authority on what time of day it is or anything like that, but would you mind telling me what happened to your headlight?
Well, I haven't the slightest idea unless someone stole the car while Tom and I were having our soda.
I see. When you came out of Jim's ice cream parlor, there was your car all ready and waiting again.
Yes.
With a busted headlight.
Well, we really didn't notice the headlight. It was dark. I can only presume that the man who stole the car must have hit the old lady, been terrified, and returned it, hoping that he would involve me.
There's only one thing wrong with that, Mrs. Van Buren. I naturally made inquiries around the neighborhood of the accident before I came here. Jim says you left his place 5 minutes before the accident occurred.
He did?
Yes. You see, Jim's a clock watcher, too.
Walter, I'd better tell him.
Of course, sir.
I haven't wanted to. But I can see it absolutely no use trying to fool you.
I'm glad you've come to that conclusion.
Well, you see, Mr. Van Buren and I had a quarrel at the club last night, and I got mad as a woman will, and I ran down the steps of the club to the car. And my son, Tom, caught up with me and insisted on coming along. He said I was too nervous and upset to drive, and he wanted to take the wheel, but I wouldn't let him. Well, then he suggested that we go to Jim's for a soda. Well, I knew that he wanted to take my mind off my troubles, calm me down a bit, so I said yes. Well, as we were driving out of the entrance to the club, I swerved rather sharply onto the highway. Too sharply, I'm afraid, because I ran into the post. Well, that's exactly what happened.
What route did you take to Jim's?
Down Elm toward Grantland.
Elm Street's in the opposite direction, to the left. It's the right side of your car which hit something, Mrs. Van Buren.
Well, then I must be mistaken.
Yes, you're mistaken. You're mistaken about the time. You're mistaken about the mysterious stranger who stole your car. And you were mistaken about the gate post. But you weren't mistaken when you told Mr. Van Buren there was no use trying to fool me. How come, Mrs. Van Buren, you hit that woman, you ran away? Hit-and-run driving is a very serious offense, and lying doesn't make it any better. Now, are you going to tell me the truth, or am I going to have to take you down to the station house for some really tough questioning?
Oh, Walter, it's no use. It's just no use. I didn't see that old lady at all. It was dark on the corner of State Street, and she was in black, and I just didn't see her at all. And suddenly, this little white dog ran out right beneath my headlights. And I swerved the car in order not to hit the dog. And I hit the old lady who was running after him. This could have happened to anybody. Why did it have to happen to me?
She's right about the dog and the lights and all that. Several people saw it. But I'm still going to have to take her downtown and book her. She shouldn't have run away.
You'd better go and get dressed, Irene.
Sorry to have kept you waiting.
Not at all.
You see, I've never dressed for jail before. We will be right back, won't we?
It all depends on how serious the charge is.
Dad?
Tom, you're supposed to be in school, having your exams. What are you doing here?
It's no use, Irene. I had to come back. I did it, Dad. She let me take the wheel after we left Jim's. As the car came around the corner, this dog ran out. I just didn't see the old lady. And suddenly people were running from all directions. I guess I panicked. I threw the car into gear and drove on. Irene begged me to go back, but I guess I was so frightened I just kept going. Dad, she did it for me.
Is this true, Irene? Irene, is this true?
Why ask me? You know I'm a liar.
Well, let's take you down to the station, Tom. Get your full story.
We'll come with you, Tom. You see, I'm such a bad liar. I can't even protect those I love.